Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification to the right.
It's done. Guess what? Nobody's going to travel anymore, right? Everybody's going to use Zoom, right? I think this is probably good for us.
My name is Eric Yuan. I'm the founder and CEO of Zoom Video Communications.
With love you all, love you all, love you all. This year, I want to say, I love you more than last year.
A young boy was born in China's Shandong province in 1970. His parents were mining engineers. 50 years later, this young boy would become one of the most famous Chinese American billionaires in the world, with his company transforming the lives of the global economy. In this video, we are going to talk about the inspirational story of Eric Yuan, the founder of Zoom. Before we begin, make sure that you subscribe and hit the little bell notification on the right. Growing up in Shandong, China, Eric Yuan had a happy childhood and was greatly influenced by his parents. In 4th grade, Yuan would collect construction scraps to recycle copper for cash. China was still in the very early beginnings of its growth stage, and as the son of geology engineers, Eric decided to study applied mathematics with a minor in computer application from the Shandong University of Science and Technology. During his first year of university in 1987, Yuan and his girlfriend were enrolled in 2 different colleges that were separated by a 10-hour train ride away. He was only able to see her twice a year, and it took more than 10 hours to get there by train. He thought to himself, it would be fantastic if in the future there was a device where I could just click a button and see her and talk to her. After earning a master's degree in geology engineering from China University of Mining and Technology in Beijing, he lived in Beijing, where he got to attend a training program in Japan for 4 months. During the early 1990s, the internet was just brewing in the US, but not in China. Eric Yuan took part in one of Bill Gates' seminars about the tech boom. It was during that seminar that he discovered the future trend of the internet, and he made a firm decision to explore the world of the internet in the US. At the age of 27, Eric flew to the US, but his journey was not smooth. He got rejected 8 times, and only on his 9th try for his visa application did he get approved. He landed his first job in WebEx, a web conferencing startup where he was one of the first 20 hires. Although Eric Yuan wanted to work in sales, due to such a large gap in communication between him and his colleagues, and the fact that he spoke very little English at the time, he worked in the engineering department instead. The first few years were very difficult for Eric due to communication barriers, but he remembered 2 things he learned from his father: keep working hard, stay humble, and someday you'll be okay. In order to get adapted to US culture and environment, he would work late nights so that it would afford him opportunity to gather with his colleagues on the weekends. Other than work, soccer was the only form of recreation that he indulged in. His work diligence paid off, and in 2007, WebEx was acquired by Cisco. Eric was given a large promotion as VP of Engineering, but due to constant technical problems with the Cisco-owned WebEx video conferencing solution, customers would often complain. WebEx, once a fast-growing startup, now was simply a cog in Cisco's hardware business. Eric Yuan felt unhappy about this, with the Cisco organization moving so slowly to fix the customer problems. He was upset that he could not influence his boss and organization to make change. He even pitched an idea of a new smartphone-friendly video conferencing system to Cisco management, but his idea was rejected. He recalled his early college years, where he would ride 10 hours by train to visit his girlfriend. When he was young, he had always dreamed of the idea of a virtual video meeting that was convenient and barrier-free. And Eric thought about his career trajectory at Cisco. It was safe. It was comfortable. He was getting paid high six figures. He was Cisco's VP Corporate of Engineering. For most of us, if we reached this point in life, we would have happily stayed in this spot, despite that little voice in our head telling us, despite all this money, despite all this material comfort, we are going down the wrong path. Something is wrong. We are unhappy. But we choose to ignore that little voice. Eric Yuan was unhappy, and he decided that he was no longer going to ignore that little voice in his head. He decided to make one of the most challenging decisions in his life and quit his comfortable corporate position in Cisco after spending 4 years there. His wife thought he was crazy, and she urged him to stay. His friends thought Eric had lost it. You don't give up a VP Corporate of Engineering job. But despite all this criticism and doubts from others, he believed in himself. He believed that he could develop a new platform that could solve his customers' problems. And 40 other engineers from Cisco also believed in him. The pitch was simple: build a better WebEx. He founded the company Zoom, a new video conferencing solution, with 40 of his fellow engineers in 2012. His first priority was to make employees happy, as if employees were happy, they could make customers happy. Eric quoted, "I learned this the hard way. When I was at Cisco, I wrote a lot of code. Early on, I was pretty happy. My productivity was high, and I was a positive influence for others. Eventually, though, when I tried to make changes, I wasn't able to influence others. I realized I wasn't the one making decisions, and that made me unhappy." His experience at Cisco taught him the importance of company culture, and as a result, he and his team were very clear from the beginning when Zoom was found. But the early beginnings were faced with many difficulties. Yuan and his team were involved in every aspect of the company, including customer service. It was so tough that he would personally email customers that unsubscribed from the service to find out why. One angry customer was so surprised that he got an email back from the CEO of the company that he accused the company of using an autoresponder. Eric Yuan offered to get on a Zoom call with this angry customer immediately to prove that it was in fact him. Hard work paid off as Zoom kept growing and growing. Part of the reason for its growth was the simplicity of it. Zoom simply worked. You didn't need to download an app or sign up for an account. It would work in any browser. You didn't need to adjust your firewall settings, and there were no hard passwords or meeting IDs. Zoom was a simple link that anyone could join. And Zoom kept solving problems for its customers despite competition from Cisco WebEx, Microsoft, and Google. Zoom is priced at $14.99 per month for the most basic solution, and the company could easily charge double or triple that, but he wanted his customers to feel that they were getting such amazing value and to be happy. In 2017, Zoom raised $100 million from Sequoia on a $1 billion valuation. What Sequoia saw in Zoom was an experienced founder who helped launch WebEx before selling the company to Cisco for an impressive $3.2 billion in 2007. April 2019 was a glorious day for Zoom as it went public with it issuing over 20 million shares, raising $356.8 million in its IPO, with the stock price zooming up 72% on the first day of trading. Eric Yuan became a billionaire on this day. But Eric Yuan did not let success get to his head, and he kept working harder and harder. Today, Eric Yuan continues to give back to his community. At the onset of the pandemic in March 2020, Eric Yuan gave K-12 schools his video conferencing tools for free, and regardless of the duration of the pandemic, Yuan said Zoom will continue to offer free services to schools and nonprofits around the world. The global pandemic turned Zoom into a household name, with the phrase, "You free to Zoom?" becoming something that everyone today understands. Happiness is at the core of everything Eric Yuan does after being disillusioned by customer dissatisfaction due to Cisco products. I realized the only way was to create a new solution from the ground up. My motivation was stirred in large part by the question that has plagued me since I was a young boy. What brings happiness? I have no idea for a long time, but finally I had the epiphany that happiness comes from making others happy, whether it's a community or society or your friends and family. When you think about others, you will be happy. That's why when I started the company, that was my priority. As a CEO, my number one job is not about the customer, product, or service. It's about our employees' happiness. If I can make our employees happy, together we can make our customers happy. What does the inspirational story of Eric Yuan and Zoom teach us? Number 1, success comes through perseverance and never giving up. Eric Yuan got rejected for his US visa 8 times before finally getting approved on his 9th time. How many of us would have kept trying? Would we have given up after the first time, second time, maybe the third time? The road to success did not come easy for Eric Yuan. But if Eric Yuan had given up so easy, maybe today Zoom would not exist. Where in your life today are you giving up too easy? What great things will not get created if you do so? Number 2, the greatest risk in life is not trying at all. Eric Yuan could have easily stayed at his VP corporate engineering job at Cisco, but he chose to believe in himself. In fact, he told his wife, "I know it's a long journey and very hard, but if I don't try it, I'll regret it." Many times in life, the people who love us the most, our friends and family, doubt us. They don't believe in us, and it hurts us. It discourages us. But it is not because they want to hurt us. It is because they want to protect us from getting hurt, getting disappointed, and failing. But sometimes, we need to shut down the voice of others, even the ones who love us the most, and believe in the little voice in our head. Believe that we can achieve great things and become the person we know we are capable of becoming, as greatness lies in every one of us. I hope you enjoyed this video. Our channel focuses on motivational and inspirational stories that touch upon holistic health, meditation, and daily 1% improvement. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell notification on the right so you'll be notified anytime we have a new video. Also, make sure you check out Eric Yuan's favorite book, The Speed of Trust, linked in the description below if you wanted to learn more about what influenced Eric Yuan's management style. How are you going to zoom your way to success in the next year? Drop a comment below and we'll be sure to address it in our next video. Until then, see you next time.